What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Dummy Wormy, and I want to just reiterate for the 11th billion time, you don't hate the corporate media enough. You don't despise the corporate media enough, and you will never despise the corporate media enough because they will always hate and despise you. Now, a few weeks back, we ended up having this article come out from Variety talking about how toxic fandom has impacted Hollywood and how they're going to be changing stuff and how that's bad and toxic fans are bad and they're all evil bigots and blah, 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 blah. You get the picture. You understand that we've gone over this over and over and over again. It's this constant battle in which people use this innocuous term known as toxic fandom that ultimately means nothing and is arbitrarily applied onto people for just criticizing bad TV shows. Well, besides countless stands and Variety and countless corporate media press institutions coming out here and telling you how awful and horrible you are, we have yet another corporate press outlet decided to throw their hat into the ring. From Collider, studios are finally starting to fight toxic fandom. It's not enough. And this is a particular article that is just so telling on what they actually believe and how they're actually going to be approaching life from now on, when all we actually have to do is check out their first two paragraphs. As great as online spaces can be for fans to bond over shared interests, it's no secret that they also have a darker side. Fans who feel entitled to own the identity of a franchise once considered theirs are not exactly a new phenomenon, as Star Wars can attest, but the use of social media has transformed what should be a fringe group of extremists into a movement in and of itself. Many of these hateful campaigns have since infiltrated spaces even outside those normal seen as part of geek culture, with Bridgerton being perhaps the most notable example, and they have proven actively harmful to both fans and creators alike. For shows like The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, among others, the biggest casualties of such terrible hate speech are usually women, people of color, and LGBTQAI plus up, down, left, right, center, square, AB, blah, blah, blah groups, while the claims of bad writing make it difficult to discuss or criticize a show in actual good faith. Bad writing makes it difficult to discuss in good faith. Why do you think they actually put that there? And by the way, they added it in within quotes. They wanted you to actually acknowledge this term, bad writing. Why would they possibly be saying they're saying it's bad faith? Because they're trying to make the term bad writing a dog whistle, a racist, sexist, homophobic dog whistle, because they have no counter to it anymore. They can't sit out here and tell everybody that all these shows are great and amazing and you're just dumb for not understanding it, because the reality is all these shows are dog water and are filled with bad writing, bad character development, so on and so forth, and they have no way to actually argue against it. So instead of actually tackling it head on, instead of actually tackling any arguments based in criticism head on, they're just going to be calling you a racist for simply saying bad writing. I can't believe that, because we're criticizing stuff, because we're talking about stuff. Take The Acolyte, for example, because we sat here, criticized The Acolyte, rightfully so. We pointed out how awful it truly was. We're now just racist, sexist, homophobic because we laid it out. It wasn't just tackling anything because of race or anything like that. We were actually showing you in the story how bad it was. We were laying it out in the story how horrible it was. Oh, but you can't do that. We were pointing out the bad writing. No, you're just bad. That's a dog whistle now. Bad writing is a dog whistle. But this is how corporate media acts. This is how corporate media injects itself within these institutions. They will come out here, they will make a statement, and instead of doing any actual fact checking, they'll just make it a claim and try to make it truth. They're going to go around now and say any criticism is therefore a dog whistle. Any actual discussion about these shows is a dog whistle. And if you're criticizing it at all, You are a bad person and you're doing nothing more than spreading hate speech, and you should be taken down because most of these outlets believe that hate speech is not free speech and that you should be shut down for simply saying your own opinions on stuff. Recently, some shows have taken it upon themselves to confront such a problem directly. Still, they need more explicit support from the studios whose efforts can seem genuine but are usually misguided or inadequate. For these fandoms to survive, those involved in any form must denounce these hate campaigns for what they are, while also promoting diversity and new progressive voices. You see what they want? They openly say, hey, we want more progressive voices. We want more of this. And denounce everybody. Call them out. Attack them. How does that work out for Star Wars, by the way? How has that been working out for Star Wars? Not very well. And this article continues going on, but I don't need to dig through it all. All I really need to do is scroll down here because this is their evidence as to why calling these things out is a good idea. In their very last paragraph, by the way, to an extent, some shows have slowly started to catch on. As the article itself notes, the Rings of Power cast loudly denounced racist Tolkien fans during their first season and saw engagement with their show actually increase, which MGM Studios TV chief Vernon Sanders embraced with pride. Notably, the series did not suffer through the same issues during its recent second season. That's because nobody watched the recent second season. You lost roughly 50% of your audience between episode 1 of last season and episode 1 of this season. People aren't reacting to it. People aren't engaging. You're denouncing them. So what do they do instead? They go away. They're gonna spend their money elsewhere, denouncing your fans as being nothing more than racist, sexist, homophobic bigots isn't doing you good. It's actually making everything worse. And by continuing to go down this route, all you are doing is telling people that you don't like them, you don't care about the fans, you've never cared about the fans, and that you're just there to push your own progressive agenda. And before anybody tries to say that I'm making that up, Collider said it. Collider even mentions that they want to push more diversity and progressive agenda within these shows. They said it. It's right here in plain black and white. That's all they want. That's all they've ever wanted. They go into these IPs because you also have to realize they're not going into the little IPs. They're not making their own little stuff. They'll take Bridgerton, for example, and just instead of actually following the source material, they'll do their own little stuff with it and piss people off, like my great producer, Gal. They'll take Star Wars and throughout time, they'll put out movies such as The Last Jedi, then Rise of Skywalker. Then they'll move on, they'll go into the D+ area, and they'll start putting out garbage show after garbage show after garbage show and constantly denounce the audience instead of actually tackling any criticism head on and trying to engage with it in good faith. All they have is bad faith tactics. All they have is disingenuous argument after disingenuous argument. And all they want to do is push their own bullcrap and popular IPs instead of going out there and making their own unique IPs, instead of going out there and making their own unique brands to help push their BS, because they know they can't do that. Not only can they actually not write at all because all these people are just horrible writers, they know that if it is, able to be made, nobody's going to watch it because nobody wants this garbage. Nobody cares about this garbage. And trying to label all criticism as just bad faith isn't going to work. It's just going to piss the audience off more, and they're going to take their money and their eyeballs and go somewhere else. Every corporate media outlet solely hates fans. And they come out here, they suckle the ding-dongs of Hollywood, of Disney, of all these places to get that crumb of access, and the moment you call them out on it, you're the bad person, you're the bad guy, you're the bigot that needs to go away. Screw off, I'm going to take my money elsewhere. But let me get you guys' thoughts on all this down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell for every time I put out a new video go live, guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.